guys, Di here from Diane and welcome to another week's video. This week I'm going to show you how to make this card. It's a Z fold, but it's a pop-out Z fold. So as you can see, I've got it on the right angle, you can actually see that it has a mechanism in the middle there, so that piece, when it's standing up like this, which you can't see very easily, I'll pop it like that, this piece here pops up as well. And I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. Now, I've seen this done a couple of times, different ways, and I like this idea. I've seen this done, I think it was, oh, I don't know, I can't remember who it was now offhand. I might have it written down somewhere. If not, whoever it is, thank you very much. My sizing is 5 and 7/8 by 4 1/4, which is Australian and European size cards. So I'm going to show you how to make this. This is all done with retired product, obviously. What I'm going to do it with is actually a retired product as well, because I still have heaps of it left, and I'm really showing you the technique more than anything else. So let's do this, and it has a nice writing panel on the back, so let's have a go, shall we? So let's pop that out of the way for a minute. Now I am going to use my layering squares, so I'm going to be using my largest of the scallop ones, which goes around there, and the 1, 2, 3, 4th size of the scalloped ones. Now in my instructions it does have the sizes for them, which I will tell you what they are when we get to that far. And then for this one we have the 2nd size of the plain squares and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th size of the plain squares. So if you're using the Stampin' Up retired squares, they're the sizes. Now on the tutorial which I've got here, which I've written down, this isn't a completed one because I do have photos on the ones when I put them up on my thing. It will have the sizes of the squares, so you will need 2 1/4 inch squares, 2 inch squares, 3 inch squares, and 2 3/4 inch squares, and it will tell you what you need. And here we have the centimeters down the side, so you can see this is how it's set out for you. If this is the first time on here and you'd like a copy of this, you head down to the bottom to Di's Den for stamping, crafting and tutorials, and there you will find the link to tell you where to go to. And to get this, it's the same name and it's the same date. So whatever date this is, it's the same date for on the other thing, for the tutorial. Now I'm using Peaceful Moments, and I'm using Here's a Card because I love both of those. As I say, I've used this Happy Birthday out of here. I just like this one more so than this one, so I'm going to be using this one here. And out of this one I'm using this one, Wishing You Every Happiness This Special Day Will Bring. So we're going to use those, and I've got some of these gold faceted gems, and I'm going to use some of those on my card as well. So let me show you what you need, and I've done a little bit of the gluing things together to make things a little bit quicker. So we need a card blank, which is 5 and 7/8 by 8 1/4. You will need 2 panels for the front of the card that measure, I'm going to bring this up here a bit closer so I can read it, because this is only a draft, so it's very pale. 5 and 5/8 by 1 and 13/16. So, and then you want 2 in the designer series paper that measure 5 and 3/8 by 1 and 9/16. Now that's only because it's easier for when you're folding, but if you want to use the centimeters, it might make it easier for you. For my inside of my card, I have a layer that measures 5 and 5/8 by 3 and 7/8, and a designer series paper layer that measures 5 and 3/8 by 3 and 5/8. My mechanism for the inside for my pop-up is just 4 inches by 3 inches. For my writing panel on the back, this is the same size as the insert ones, which are 5 5/8 by 3 7/8 and 5 3/8 by 3 5/8. And then we have our squares and our designer series paper squares. That's the largest one, which is the 3 inch by and the 2 3/4 inch squares. Then you want you want 3 in this size, which are the 2 1/4 inch squares. And you want 2 pieces with designer paper that are 2 inches by 2 inches and 1 piece in white that is 2 inches by 2 inches. So that's all we're going to need for our card. So let's pop all these pieces out of the way and we will start by scoring. Oh, dear me, I've got an itchy nose today. It must be the dust outside. It's been a bit windy. Okay, so we're going to pop this into our scoreboard on the long side, and I'm going to bring this back in again. And I'm going to score this. Actually, I'm not going to score it on here. I'm going to score this on my trimmer because I want to do funny measurements. So sorry. I'm going to score this at the 4 1/8 mark. Now, making sure that you use your scorer if you're doing it on here, which is the grey one, not the brown one. So 4 1/8 and 2 1/16. So that's the first little mark past the 2. And that's all the scoring we're going to do. So let's pop our board out of the way. And we're going to fold our card as a Z fold. Now, if you want to do your measurements a little bit differently, that's fine. Or you have different size carding, that's fine too if you want to make it, you know, different sizing. But that's what the sizes are when you're doing it with the A4 cardstock. So now we're going to glue our 2 smaller panels together. Now that one's been done, and I will glue this one together with this one. These are our strange size pieces. These are our pieces that measure 5 5/8 by 13 16ths and 5 3/8 by 9 and 1 9 16ths. That's what happens when I'm reading and doing the same thing at the same time. I messed that one up a bit going on there. Never mind, it's on there now. So if you've got a pattern that is one way, you know, like directional, you need to watch that. Mine has a direction on it, but I don't think it really matters too much, but I will pop it up that way. So I'm going to pop my piece on the front. Whoops. Let's open this up again because it's going to be easier for me to do this. On the front of the card, on the inside of the card, on the left hand side. Whoops. And then we're going to pop our other 2 pieces of designer series paper together, layers together here, and pop that onto the other side. And I've got yucky glue all stuck around the nib of that. So let's pop that together like so. And glue this to the inside of the card. There we go. So that's our panels on the inside of our card. Now, I suggest that you do the back of the card before you do the rest of it because of the bulkiness inside. So let's do our inside of our card, our writing panel on the back of our card and we're going to just stamp this, and I'm going to stamp it in Early Espresso. God, I might as well do my other piece of stamping onto my other piece of white card at the same time. So I'm going to stamp this piece here that says, wishing you every happiness this special day will bring. And while I have this open, and you'll want to pop this onto the diagonal, so that I can line this up, I'm just going to line it up with this center line here at the top and the bottom, so that I know that I've got my words straight. There we go. So that's that bit done. So that can sit over on the side there out of the way for now. Let's glue these two pieces together and pop them onto the back of the card. So our writing panel is done. Oh, that's fuzzy edge down there. Okay, and we will pop that onto the back of the card, making sure that this is on the right hand side, so when you turn it over, this is the correct place to put it, the correct way up to put it. You don't want your words upside down. Okay, so that's the back of our card done. So now we have our card base ready. So let's pop that on one side, and what we're going to do now is we're going to glue our squares together. Now once again, if you have a pattern like I have, you want to make sure that for your front panels your pattern is up the correct way. So these are going to be on the card this way, so you want them to go like so that they show. We will glue our happy birthday onto the other white one, other square that is the 2 1/4. Oh dear, I'm going to sneeze now. Excuse me. There's definitely a lot of dust around today. And once again, we want to make sure that that's nice and neat onto that. And that one's on there. And we're now going to glue this one onto here. And once again, we need to make sure that this image is going to be facing this way. So on the diagonal once again. So now that we've done those, what we're going to do next is we're going to make our mechanism and cut this piece here. So we'll pop those other 3 out of the way, and this is our mechanism and our piece here. So with this piece here, we're going to pop this into our trimmer so that it is even down here. So we're going to pop this in so that at the 1 inch mark here on the left hand side, you have the top and bottom. Now if you don't have a trimmer that has that, turn your picture upside down so that your left hand side is now on the right hand side, and pop this in here at the 1 inch mark so that you can line that up top and bottom on your lines on the paper. That way you'll know that you have everything even. So we've got it lined up here and here, and lined up here and here, and we're going to then trim that piece off. So we've just cut off an inch piece, or just over in this case, and that we need this picture to be on the correct side. So if you've got a design that is all over, that's fine. If like me, mine was on one side, you want to make sure that that's on one side. So we're going to pop that away, and we're going to bring in our other let's move that out of the way. Bring in our other scoreboard, and we're going to score this on the long side. Oops, using our tool, which is with the small end, at the 1 inch, the 2 inch, and the 3 inch mark. That's all the scoring we're doing on that piece. That's the mechanism piece. And we're going to fold and burnish all these score lines. Now with this piece laying folded in half, so the two other score lines are together and they're folding outwards like this to make a square, as you can see there, we're going to fold that flat and we're going to pop this into the centre here. Now you can measure top and bottom if you want, or you can eyeball it, and I'm going to just eyeball it because I didn't bring a pencil one with me, and I'm going to pop some glue on the tab here on the open end. I've got glue on my fingers and it's sticking to me. And then I'm going to pop this into the middle of the card so that it's butted up to that score line there, but not over it. And making sure that it's fairly even top and bottom. It doesn't have to be 100%, but I mean, if you're OCD and you want to, you can actually measure top and bottom to make sure that you've got the same size, but this looks fairly even to me. This is 1.5, well, just under 1.5. So that's in the middle there. So now we're going to fold that over like so, and we're going to pop, sorry, on this other open end, we're going to pop some more glue. And then we're going to fold our card over on top of it and let it set. I've got a lot of dust in here today. I can see it on my paper. And you will find now that you have this open piece with the square, as you can see here, in the middle. So we're now going to take our piece that we've cut and we're going to glue that onto here. Now, you're better off, in my case, I found, to pop it on like this, and then I can see where I want the glue. I can see that I can put the glue from here all the way down to here, like so. And then I can close that over on top of there, like so. And then he's in the middle, like, and he's standing up in the middle. So while we're doing that, now we've got our other two squares with our designer series paper on them, and we're going to line them up top and bottom along this edge here. So we're going to line them up so that this point and this point are on that edge. So we need to look, when we put it on there, that's the way we want it, or do we want the picture that way up? No, we don't. We want it that way up. So we now know that we need to put glue on this side only. So we need to turn it over so that we know to put glue just along this edge here, because we don't want to go over the edge. And then we can pop it back onto the front of our card, lining up with the bottom and the top along this edge here. And you can look here and make sure that you've got no glue actually popping through. If so, just get a quick smudge along there to get rid of it. And then we're going to pop our other one on here. Now you will notice that they overlap, and that's exactly how they're supposed to be. So we're now going to do this. We're going to pop this one on here. So we know that we need to put glue on the underside of this side, which is this side. And once again, we're going to pop our glue onto the under left side and pop that back onto the front of the card, lining up at the top and as close as you can at the bottom. And once again, just checking, making sure that there's no glue along this edge here. With this one here, we're going to pop this one on top here like this, and we need to pop this one up on some dimensions. So once again, we know that we want to put dimensions, and that's with time we don't want to go past about here. So we know we can go a bit further this time. So we can pop ours on the top, on the left hand side, which is the right hand side when it's upside down, and one in the middle here, so that it can then sit on here. And once again, before you put that on there, you can go, oh look, I put that in the wrong place. So you can pop him off without too much effort and move him back a little bit. So once again, you can check him out. Yep, that's fine, he's not going to show. So we can pop that in. And onto the front of the card, so that he's actually popped up over the top of these. Try and line these up as much as you can along this line here as well, and this line here. You'll find that they actually sit together much nicer looking. Okay, so now I have a little gold bow that I'm going to pop up the top here. I'll cut him off in a minute. So I've got some glue dots here. So I will glue, I actually made my bow ahead of time. Let's put some glue dots on him. And I think I might put him at the bottom. What do you reckon? Top, bottom, top. So I can pull these down now and trim them off to the size that I want them. Oops. Cut. Cut. There we go. So I'll pop my pin back in my glue and we'll finish off with a few of these beautiful faceted gems. I've got the smaller ones here, and I'm going to pop one in the middle and one up this side here and one up this side here. And that's our card for today. What do you think? Oh, I think it's gorgeous. I love it. I love the way it pops out, like when it's standing up, and as you can't see it that way, let's pop it that way. You can see this piece here pops out. Absolutely gorgeous. It just pokes out here and he doesn't go over the edge of the card, so he will fit into the envelope beautifully. But it just stands up lovely, and it's another kind of Z fold. So I hope you've enjoyed today's card. If this is your first time here and you'd like to see more, don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss any of my future videos, and you can check out all the past ones. Just press the bell button as well, that way you won't miss any future videos at all, because it will remind you. And if you want the written tutorial, just head down to Di's Den for Stampin' Crafting and Tutorials. That's my Facebook group page. You can join in, it's great fun. We do have a few other items. When I do a bit of baking, I put up a few recipes from time to time, and some knitting patterns from time to time when I've done some bit of knitting. But I do love my crafting, so that's what I mainly do. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye for now.